I am Italian, and one of the things that I miss the most is the typical lasagna or cannelloni. For some people it's not possible to eat those things with the original recipe because of the gluten in the pasta and the butter and the milk in the bechamel. But there are ways to make it gluten-free and dairy-free. I experimented in many ways and I came up with something that I absolutely love. This is gonna require a little bit of time, but it's gonna be totally worth it. I'm gonna work on 3 different things: egg pasta gluten-free, dairy-free bechamel, and ragu, which is the Bolognese sauce. Let's start with the pasta. I use more or less 70% of amaranth flour, 20% of brown rice flour, 10% of psyllium musk powder, very important, or it's gonna break because it's gluten-free, salt, and 1 egg every 100 grams of flour. I place the flour on the table and I make a little hole inside. I break 1 egg and I put it in, and then I start working on the egg with my fingers. Then I mix the flour with the egg and I work on it. I keep working on it. If it's too dry, I add more egg. I keep working until the pasta dough is ready. I wrap it in a plastic paper and I let it rest for 1 hour. Meanwhile, I work on the bechamel. I replace butter with olive oil and milk with soy milk, but you can use any other alternative milk that you want. I use brown rice flour, which is gluten-free. You can use any flour you want. The seasoning usually consists in salt, pepper, and nutmeg, but I'm only gonna use salt because I can't have pepper and I don't like nutmeg. Okay, on a low flame I add the oil and the flour and I mix them, and then I slowly add the milk and I keep stirring, no stopping. I keep pouring the milk and I keep stirring. I season it and I keep mixing until the texture starts to change because of the flour and it becomes more dense. Okay, now it's ready and I put it on a bowl and I leave it on the side. Meanwhile, I'm gonna work on the ragu. Onion, I chop it very thin and I put it on the bowl. Celery, same thing, chop it very thin and put it in the same bowl. Carrots, same exact thing. This is the typical Italian soffritto: celery, onion, and carrots. Everything in a pan, high flame with a little bit of oil. I season it, added the organic beef, generous red wine, and I let it evaporate, and then a little bit of tomato sauce. Flashback, I did this before and I froze it. You can check the full video about it. Back to the sauce, I add the chicken stock. Another flashback, I did this before and I froze it. You can check the full video about the chicken. Everything is ready. I cover it with a lid, lower the flame and wait for 2 hours. Meanwhile, I go back to the pasta. Brown rice flour on the table, then I roll the dough very gently so I don't break it, and then with a knife I do rectangles shaped. If it breaks, you can use a parchment paper. That's gonna be very helpful. And you do the same, like I do rectangles and then I place them on a tray with a cloth and put some more flour and I cover them. I go back to the sauce. Oh wow, it smells good, it's great, and it's ready. So now I put everything together, bechamel on the tray with a little bit of oil, and then I start to roll the cannelloni with some of the sauce. You can also add bechamel inside the cannelloni if you want. Sometimes I do it. It's gonna be nice, soft, and tasty. I'm gonna finish all the cannelloni, put some more sauce on top. Now I mix the bechamel with a little bit of tomato sauce. And by the way, you can do that from the beginning and use just the mix of 2, but I like to divide it. I place it on top and this is ready. I move to the lasagna, pretty similar. In a tray I place bechamel, a little bit of oil, ragu, pasta, bechamel, ragu, layer of pasta, bechamel, ragu, pasta, bechamel, ragu, and so on. At the end I cut some fresh mozzarella, I put it on top, season it, some oregano, ready to bake. I'm gonna leave it between 20 or 30 minutes at 395 Fahrenheit and then I broil it for 2 to 5 minutes. Ready.
Buon appetito!
Yeah, that was my wife.